Joining me right now is Texas Congressman, House Ways and Means Committee member Jodey Arrington. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being
Good morning,
here.
Maria.
Your thoughts on where we are in these talks in terms of the spending on infrastructure?
Well, I think it's just talk. I think that they will pivot and they will jam through another partisan proposal that will be the priorities of the left. The left's in charge. We worked, pre-COVID 5 times on bipartisan legislation. They abandoned that altogether for the $2 trillion supposedly COVID relief, but we know it wasn't. We've seen inflation go up because of all this needless, wild spending spree. And I think that's going to be the play they run again, because Republicans aren't interested in destroying our economy by implementing the Green New Deal de facto. We want hard infrastructure. We want traditional core infrastructure that would actually facilitate our recovery and growth. It's needed, but to the tune of maybe $400 billion, which is more surface transportation investment that we've made ever, but it's not $2 trillion on mass subsidies for the electric vehicle industry, or 500,000 charging stations, electric charging stations around the country. So, yeah, I think there's a big chasm between what infrastructure is for Republicans and what it is for Democrats. And by the way, they would put tax hikes on a runaway inflation, on an economy that is actually going the wrong way with unemployment going up. It's the wrong time for all of this, and Republicans aren't going to be complicit in having a more protracted recession and hurting our economy and our prospects of pre-COVID prosperity.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable to me that they want to push through so much so quickly. I assume they expect to lose the majority in 2022, and that's why they want to get as much done as possible, as fast as possible. But this weekend, we reported that Joe Biden did not have enough support from moderate Democrats. The New York and New Jersey senators are saying they want SALT in there. Bernie Sanders is saying if anything about a SALT deduction is in there, I'm not signing it. Then you've got others who say I'm not on board with a higher tax rate on capital gains as high as 43.4% and the corporate rate up to 28%, which I heard that Joe Manchin wasn't with. So you're saying they're going to still try to jam it through and try to convince the moderate Democrats to go along with it so that they can jam it through reconciliation? And when would that happen? This summer?
More than likely towards the end of the summer. It could drag into the fall. If it is going to drag out that long, then I think we will see a dial back on some of the tax hikes, like the corporate rates, et cetera. Now, people, when they talk about the corporate rates, think about corporations being taxed, but really 70% of that tax will be passed on to working families in the form of lower wages, higher cost of goods and services. But yes, I think politically speaking, it is going to be tougher, Maria, to increase taxes with these competitive Democrat seats. They're feeling the heat now. Yeah. We have a 5-seat margin. The momentum is all on the Republican side. They're desperate, you can tell, because they're trying to bring back the Trump narrative of insurrection and inciting riots, a real Hail Mary. But yeah, we're going to keep fighting it and pushing it. But I think that they will eventually pivot and ram and jam. That's I think the play they're going to run.
Wow. Okay, well, real quick, before you go, Congressman, I got to ask you about the border. You're from Texas, and you're feeling it up close and personal. Now the Department of Homeland Security is calling on the Pentagon to extend the troop deployment at the southern border. 4,000 National Guard troops stationed there since 2018 were set to return home in October. Now DHS is asking them to stay until next year. You recently visited the border. I was there a couple of weeks ago as well. Real quick, your takeaways there, and whether or not this administration is acknowledging the crisis underway.
They're not acknowledging it. They won't take responsibility that this is cause and effect from their policies. We've never seen the border on fire like it is. It's total chaos. The drug cartels, as you know, are totally in charge and in control, not the Biden-Harris administration. They are for open border. They are for an open border. That's what their policies de facto are, by catch and release and by not having notices to appear. So, and then taking the monies away for the border wall and redirecting them to flood control programs. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. I don't see it abating anytime soon. And the country's taking it hard, but Biden politically is taking it hard as well. And I think this is one that's going to be with them for a long time, unfortunately, for our country.
Well, our young people as well, more fentanyl seized at the border this year, so far year to date, than all of 2020. And it's killing our people. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you, sir.
You
Congressman
too,
Jodey Arrington
Maria.
joining us this morning in D.C. We'll be right back. Stay with us.